explanation of how we bring you this programme every single day from the middle of the desert. The information comes from 260 journalists, all in a specially made tent, reporting, photographers and written press. 3 web journalists look after 6 million hits a day on the new Dakar.com website, whilst 70 different channels take the feed.
According
to the rulebook, you have to present.
Kalama w Chile. Tu zawodnicy zaczynają zmagania.
klein beetje blijk.
Bislang bij de Rallye Dakar.
وعدنا أمس ناصر العطية
zaletą 5. etapu Wikikę.
It's a race against time to get programme from the sand onto your screens. 3 helicopters, 40 cameras overall are flat out trying to get footage back to the edit truck for the 3:45 deadline here in Chile. There are 3 satellite stations positioned around the stage where helicopters drop off the tapes so that the tapes can then be played back to base. And some of that is 45 tons of TV equipment overall. In the editing room, generally just 2 hours to make this 26-minute programme and script it. There's 220 people involved in making all the different shows that go out.
Aquí por la pantalla de Fox Sports.
Damanes, salud y benzina.
So see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. And so to the cars. And plenty of interest and excitement for El Matador at the start of the day's stage. Co-driver in the Mini, Michel Perrin, has a pain in his arm.
Alors, à cette heure-ci, ça fait pas mal. Hier, ça.
Well, now it's not that painful anymore, he says. But I had pain for the last 300 kilometers of the stage yesterday. It was really horrible pain, but I really wanted to finish the rally. If the car's not out of service, then I will go on. That was due to falling into that hole that we saw the Mini planted in early in the stage yesterday. Well, surprise, surprise, after 2 days off the top of the timesheets, Carlos Sainz has fought back. Victory on today's stage. He's absolutely loving playing in the dunes, which is rather ominous for everyone else, because the next 3 days are exactly the same as this. He didn't have it his own way though. Nasser Al-Attiyah early on in the stage was faster than Sainz, but for some reason just lost pace at the end of the stage. We've seen that in the last couple of days. So Al-Attiyah finished second, some, well, 9 seconds down. Sainz's teammate Giniel de Villiers finished the day up in 3rd position, which was a really good result for him. Villiers 10 minutes down from Carlos Sainz. And to round out a 1, 2, 3, 4, Mark Miller did eventually beat Stefan Pederhansel. The reason? Pederhansel flying early on, built up a 2-minute lead, but then a sequence of punctures. We've seen that on the last few days, and yet again it stumped Frenchman. Whereas the last 2 days it's just been one solitary puncture causing about 2 or 3 minutes of problems. Today he had multiple issues and eventually finished the stage well down with 13-minute gap. Let's go now on board with American Mark Miller.
Let's go to the lift. We're going to go to the lift. Lift.
Oh, I see the tracks. Okay, all right.
They say go to the right. To the right. To the right. Lead the tracks to the right.
Okay.
As you can see, very, very confusing out in the dunes, especially when other people are making mistakes. You don't know which track to follow, but certainly for Miller, who is the last of Volkswagens, heavy with the spares of the other cars, it's very tricky. Once again, fifth over the stage, Christoph Hollowitz, the sports marketing manager, is what he does for a job, but loves his rallying, head of the Polish Rally Championship. Gunnar Shishri, piloting the Mini, has been matching Christoph Hollowitz's pace all day. A really impressive result yet again for the Mini. Yes, it's based on an X3, but that's a new body shape. Expect the colour, by the way, to change in the next couple of days. Behind him, Orlando Terranova was very, very happy in Argentina, not quite so happy here in Chile. The desert's a bit daunting for him in his X3, but he's still pushing on. His teammate Ricardo dos Santos, new to the X3, having retired his X5, his 9th stage 2, 12th overall, and Spinelli is still the best of the Mitsubishis. On board with Christian Lavier in the Nissan de Sud. And Matthias Kahn rounds out the top 10 in his buggy. He went to the day 14th overall with that diesel power. It's fantastic. And the results at stage 6 then. Sainz just 9 seconds ahead of Alatia. They're going to have a great battle together. De Villiers and Miller, Volkswagen 1, 2, 3, 4. Peter Hansel down in 5th. He loses now 12 minutes, 40 minutes overall to those front two. Hollowitz rounds out the top 5.
He
went very well. We fought with Nasser and Peter Hansel, who were together. I saw Peter Hansel stopping, and in fact I was very close to Nasser in the dunes. I had a puncture and I did lose a few minutes. It wasn't good for us today. The first 200 kilometers were good, but in a dune section we missed a waypoint, so we lost about 4 or 5 minutes there. After that we had a series of punctures. In fact we had 4. There was a lot of off-road in the stones, and the car was heavy and the stones were hidden in the fesh. We had 3 punctures with only 3 wheels, so we had to stop to fill regularly our last wheel, which had a slow puncture. We stopped many times, and today the bill is expensive.
I catch him in some place. I think he get stuck or he have some problem, but after I let him pass. He passed me, but it was a very bad place, and he get puncture. But after just I was pushing from this point to finish, so it's okay.
Once again, let's take a look at the truck section. Vladimir Chagin had a puncture yesterday, and that cost him 15 minutes. On the early part of today's stage, he was charging. He built up a nice gap of 14 minutes, but then problems later on in the stage, and as we speak to you now,
He's 14 and a half minutes down on the leader. Of course, you'd expect that to be Felix Kabarov, the man who's won the Dakar twice, is second overall, 14 minutes down, and therefore it's going to change the overall lead of the rally. Kabarov is not leading today, but is only 43 seconds back, which means we have a potential Tatra on the top step of the podium. Stanislav Prez is third overall. He got lost and had a puncture yesterday, but today is flying in the Tatra, and it looks as though he's going to take stage victory. There's just 30 kilometers left on the stage, and he's leading it by a mere 43 seconds. The truck section is absolutely gripping. Some way down in fourth spot is the third of the Kamaz trucks. Nikolaev is holding that mantle ahead of Mardiev in fifth. It may well be a rest day for amateur competitors, but tomorrow represents a lot of work for the mechanics and press conferences for the pro drivers. We'll be back as well with a roundup of all the week's action from the surf capital of Chile, Arica. See you then.